When the day begins here, honor is the first to arrive, followed shortly by solemnity and respect. This is the sacred ground of Gettysburg National Military Park in Pennsylvania. And in the shadow of all that history is a school with plenty of history, and it too has a Gettysburg address. But for sports fans at Gettysburg College, it's a recent memory that still has people talking.
Hollywood couldn't write a script this great.
It was senior night for the basketball team, and though he was a team captain, Corey Weissman was making the first start of his college career.
We recruited him because we thought he'd be an excellent point guard.
Weissman scored more than 1,000 points in high school and was actually in line to be a starter in just his sophomore year when something went terribly wrong during an off-season workout.
All of a sudden, just out of nowhere, I got this piercing headache.
Weissman's left arm went numb, and after a teammate carried him to the training room, he was soon rushed to the hospital with the symptoms of a stroke.
The initial report was that they were very concerned about the pressure on his brain.
Doctors discovered that Corey had a malformation on the right side of the brain, and some arteries and veins had burst.
It was, it was scary.
It was touch and go for a while, but when the danger finally passed, after 2 weeks in the hospital, he was taken by ambulance to a rehab center in New Jersey.
To hear them say that, I couldn't use the left side of my body, it was just so bizarre.
The stroke took away Corey's ability to use the left side of his body, but not his desire to play basketball.
Just the hope that I was going to be back and playing basketball is really what drove me the whole time I was at rehab.
In his mind, the difference between the impossible and the possible lied in his determination. And so he pushed himself up the rehab mountain. He returned to college the following semester, helping the team out in any way he could, never missing a practice.
And I think what was incredible is his teammates really welcomed him. They took care of him.
So for senior night, Coach George Petrie made the decision to start Corey. The plan was to let him play just a few seconds.
Give it to Corey Weissman, who rolls it out of bounds.
But the atmosphere for the game against Washington College was electric.
It was a surreal experience. It was different than any senior day that I've ever witnessed.
A month earlier, the Bullets lost in overtime to Washington, but this time, perhaps spurred on by Corey's appearance, Gettysburg had an 18-point lead with less than a minute to play. That's when Coach Petrie looked down his bench.
I turned to Corey and I said, hey, I want to go back in the game. And of course, he's like, you kidding me? With 59 seconds left in the game, I happened to look back at the scores table, and he's standing there waiting to come in. It was a pretty powerful moment.
Moments after Corey entered the game, and with his team completely out of it, Washington coach Rob Nugent called a baffling timeout. What nobody knew is that Coach Nugent had instructed one of his players to foul Corey.
Corey Weissman is fouled by Flanagan
to give him a chance to earn his first college points.
And the only thing I could do was put myself in Corey's shoes and think about what would be the best scenario for us to play out.
With 17 seconds left, Corey Weissman walked to the free throw line with 2 shots.
Gettysburg is standing. The whole bench is standing. Everyone in the stands is standing.
I wouldn't want it any other way. I think the way he looked at it was, Corey's a fighter. Let him earn it. So when I finally got to the line and got the ball, I sensed that, the whole gym was looking at me.
Perhaps it was all those eyes or the eerie silence that enveloped the gym, but Corey's first shot missed badly to the left.
The first one is no good.
And for whatever reason, when I got the ball for my second free throw, all of the butterflies and everything just went out the window.
The place erupted with cheers and tears.
We all had goosebumps. Many of us had tears in our eyes. It was a really moving experience for a lot of people.
Corey Weissman made just 1 point for Gettysburg, but Washington College had made a point for sports fans everywhere.
I can't say enough about the sportsmanship that he showed I don't know that there's any other coach in the country that might have thought of that.
Here we were in a year with the scandal at Penn State and so many things that you hear about that might be wrong with college athletics. This was something that was extremely right.
1,000 to 1, from scoring 1,000 points in high school to just 1 in college, and beating those kinds of odds to do it. And as Corey Weissman has learned from the cards, letters, and emails he still gets, determination can often serve as inspiration.
You know, Corey did this, you know, I could do this too. And I mean, that's been, you know, the best part about the whole story.